Save the forest, you've saved every other creature in the forest, including the microflora and fauna of the soil, including the tick on the back of the tiger.
When Project Tiger began, there were 9 tiger reserves, and they were in 8 states. In Bengal, it would be the mangrove forests of the Sundarbans. In Western India, it would be dry thorn jungles in the Aravallis. In Central India, it would be lush forests of great trees of sal and teak. In Southern India, it would be moist deciduous forests where tigers would rub shoulders of the light. Large animals India is justly famous for, such as the elephant.
So they didn't pick only the best tiger habitat. If you look at the goal, it is about preserving all biodiversity, using the tiger as a flagship.
Every tiger reserve had to have a core area of a minimum of 300 square kilometers. The idea is that the core would be the place where the tigers would breed, undisturbed by humans. The director of Project Tiger, Kailash Sankla, famously in a press conference said his policy was to do nothing and not let anybody do anything.
To do nothing in the forest and allow nothing to be done, it meant the exclusion of human beings.
There was this very, very strong feeling amongst experts, scientists, biologists, so on, that these spaces should be inviolate.
The strategy then was to move villagers out.
People who loved these forests and who knew the forest better than anyone in the world and had very close spiritual connection with the forest.
पहले जी मैं अवरे में था 1974 में कान्हा नेशनल पार्क हटा दिया उन्होंने बताया कि गांव हटाओ हमारे बुजुर्ग लोग बोले कैसा हटेगा हमारा तो आजाद होता गांव है पुराना है नहीं हटाएगा नहीं हटेगा आदमी तो हाथी से झोपड़ा गिरा वह चला गया तो हमको जगह ना जमीन ना कुछ हम बहुत सारी दिन ऐसे झुग्गी झोपड़ी बनाकर 15 दिन तक ऐसे झाड़ के नीचे रहे ऊपर से पानी हम झाड़ के नीचे
There must have been a way to turn them into the protectors of the forests, rather than removing them from their spiritual homes.
It was, in fact, quite tragic because the people who were moved out were victims too. The actual pressures that tigers faced came from the outside. Very few people realized that. But if you were to remove for a moment the right and the wrong from a human point of view, the biological proof of concept came back so fast. It was more difficult for development projects to come there because the court still felt that where the tiger was, we can't go and destroy that forest. You gave them the space, you gave them the food, you gave them the water, they multiplied.
They function at these relatively low densities across vast landscapes. How do they even keep in touch with each other? They don't have WhatsApp or Tinder or any social. tigers breed prolifically. A single female holding a good territory with sufficient prey starts breeding at the age of 3. And every 2.5 years she'll crank out 3 cubs. In her lifetime, 15 cubs. She only needs one to replace herself. I would say that the first 2 decades was quite a spectacular success. At least in these reserves, which were notified, tigers did come back.
There were birds that came back, there were insects that came back, there were reptiles that came back. Everything in the ecosystem began to come back. And what was at the center of all this? What was the flag that was being waved? It was the tiger.
By the 1980s, tigers were rewriting their natural histories.
You have to remember that most people thought that tigers were nocturnal. And it was because they were hunted, because they were harassed. Suddenly tigers were out in the open.
It was possible, perhaps for the first time, to see tigers from a jeep, photograph them at leisure, to record their habits, to know individual animals.
And, you know, as a filmmaker, it was just unbelievable.
The tiger felt secure. Its forests had been returned to it. And that was the gift that Project Tiger gave to India and the world.
Every American kid knows what a tiger is.
Who were entertaining.